Have you ever heard of this anime called Maerchen Maedchen? I found this anime quite a while ago when I was looking through Anime Planet. I personally have never heard of this anime before, and it seems like if I search it on YouTube, I almost get nothing. But I took a closer look at it and thought, yeah, this is probably a good use for my 6 hours of free time. So I binged it. Maerchen Maedchen.
Maerchen Maedchen.
Maerchen Maedchen. According to my source of information, it was released in 2018 and is an anime adaptation of a light novel by the same name. It was produced by Hoots Entertainment, who I'm sure you're all familiar with already. I personally haven't watched any of their animes, so Medohen here is my entry point through their wide world of anime. But in case I do like the anime, let's just take a little peek at what they have in store for me. Alright, let's move on. Here's a summary of the first 10 episodes of MM using my own set of words. Only in the main plot though. I encourage you to watch the anime yourself for the little side stories and character development details. This anime starts with a very flattering monologue by the MC herself.
影村葉月には友達がいない。ごくわずかしかいないとか。微妙な関係の相手はいるが、それを友達と呼んでいいのかわからないとか。
Her name is Hazuki. She's basically just a typical introverted girl who's really into books for some reason. Every time she's feeling a bit overwhelmed, she runs away to the local bookstore to hoard a few books for her to binge. In one of these days, reading her book in a local burger shop, she notices a book in her bag that she doesn't recognize and proceeds to open it, although she fails to open it for obvious magical reasons. Then a hooded figure runs past RMC, at which point Hazuki realizes she's in an anime and proceeds to chase this suspicious individual. Hazuki chases them to a library somewhere in the middle of a forest. A bit of magical stuff happens, and finally she enters a magical world. One of the first things to happen in the magical world is this extended chase scene where Hazuki runs away from this girl, Kazan, without wearing any clothes. If you're wondering why she's not wearing any clothes, go watch the anime. Somehow she escapes Kazan by entering a school through a magical door. Of course, she's still not wearing any clothes, so people could just see her sitting there, embarrassed out of her brains. Both Kazan and the hooded figure finds her still sitting exposed. At which point, we get the reveal that the hooded figure is a girl named Shizuka, and both she and Kazan studies in the school they're currently in. And that's basically the first episode. Now, before we move on, here's a little explanation of the magic system they're going to abide to for the next 11 episodes. Everyone in this magical world has a book called an original, based on fairy tales of the real world. Every magical girl in training is called a
Mädchen.
They study in schools in the magic world. And that's the extent of what's important for the plot, so we'll carry on with the next episode. In the next episode, we see Hazuki befriend this girl Shizuka, the hooded figure, who will act as her trainer so Hazuki can transform into a magical girl. Now, this is because they need her to participate in the German word I don't know. So, what's the Hexenacht, you ask? It's a tournament. We then get glimpses of the other schools, China, Russia, India, DE, fucking UK and Americans, and also the coalition. There is a preliminary round held between the coalition and the Japanese. Of course, the Japanese wins by default. This is an anime, what do you expect? Moving on, there's this onsen scene that is here to introduce from the other schools. There's also a lot of unclothed women standing around wet, so that's fun. We then meet the Russians. The Russians are pretty much what you get if the power of friendship was cranked up to 1,000.
原初ラーマーヤナの魔法は未来を予知する。わらわはすでにスマタラの敗北を知っておるのじゃ。
どうか、それは奇遇だな。
They pretty much just skip the fight. Yeah, that's all you're getting. They didn't even show anything. One moment they're standing, the next moment everyone's suddenly dead. This is the only thing I'd like to say about this anime. There are two battles that we do not get to see in full. I've watched this anime twice, and both times I felt disappointed on how it's presented to us. Both of these fights are not important, I'll give them that. And yes, the German v Indian fight canonically took only 5 minutes or something.
第一試合始まってまだ3分も経ってないよ。
But it just feels cheap, you know. Well, it's probably how the author described the fights in the light novel. I feel like they could have definitely made it more fun to watch. Alright, enough of that. Let's move on. The Japanese school wins by summoning the spirit of communism onto the field. We barely get to see them fight, but the Americans win. Alright, finally, here's one fight scene that I can describe in more than 2 sentences. This is the one fight scene I do actually like. It's pretty fun to watch. The Japanese outnumber the Americans by a few people, but for most of the fight, the Americans actually had the upper hand. This girl, Lynn's magic is very powerful. Her different colored matches do different effects that are also supported by her 2 other teammates. Even when Lynn is defeated, American Hogwarts still had a trump card. One of her friends, get this, has a fucking gun. She has a fucking gun with which she barrages the Japanese with. But somehow, after all that, the Japanese still won. How, you ask? Well, Shizuka drops the Ocarina of Time moon on them. And that's how they win. A moon falls on the Americans and crushes them. Now they're fucking dead. The Japanese wins. Anyways, that's episode 10. And I'll stop there, because I don't really want to spoil the rest of the story. Now, there is a reason for why I stopped at episode 10. Strangely enough, Maerchen Maedchen technically has only 10 episodes. According to Wikipedia, Mal and Anime Planet, there are originally 12 episodes of the anime, but they only released 10 in 2018. The other 2 episodes are released a year later in April of 2019. Mal and Anime Planet both showed the episode count as 10, with the other 2 episodes considered specials. A quick search on Google, I found this website, which is a site written in Japanese, and I can't really read Japanese, so I can't really tell you the content of the site, although I can tell they announced the 2 episodes release on this site. The site hadn't actually been updated for a couple of years now. The last time they posted something was on 2022, so do with that what you will. Also, the light novel hadn't actually finished as of the airing of the anime. According to the wiki, the 4th volume released right after the anime's 10th episode aired, so the 12th episode is probably not the real ending to the story. Anyways, this anime is not that bad. There are more cute girls doing cute things than actual magical girl battles. A fine anime to kill time. Definitely had fun watching it. Twice now. Bye.